Hello, beautiful beings. Okay, what were we going to talk about? I just took a shower. I have no idea how I look. Oh, I look like myself. What a relief. Yeah, they just had a really good idea because I told them I'm tired of forgetting because it's a much different flow when I'm recording a video, opposed to actually talking to a real human being. I tend to forget when I'm recording, but I don't when I'm holding song with a person. Okay, I need to let the thought dust settle. Oh, yes, okay, thank you. I had a pop quiz at about 2:15 in the morning last night, and it was three people. Doozer was barking, so he woke me up, and there was three people that had walked over back here in this grassy area. They were just trying to get away from everybody in the RV park so they could talk and laugh and have a wonderful evening. But yeah, so I passed. I had my door open and they were laying in the grass, looking at the stars, just laughing and talking. It was three men, and I couldn't go back to sleep. Just when I would start to drift off, and I had my earplugs in, my super duper good ones, but they were considerably close to my where I was sleeping. So I went through the different thought patterns, and the first one was to yell, you know, be quiet, but that would be reacting. And so I said, make it plainly obvious what I should do. And I put my earplugs back in and I laid down and I was just like, I bet I can go to sleep. And I just really focused on presence, and no, I couldn't. So I got up and I didn't have adrenaline pumping, I didn't feel angry. Yeah, I just walked over there through the bushes and shit, and I just said, I just told him. I said, I feel like an ass right now because I don't want to ruin your good time. However, I have a huge a lake house. I have a huge lake house to clean tomorrow, and I really need to go to sleep. So, yeah, they were really super nice about it. But see, I passed because I didn't scream at them. That would have just made me feel bad. So that's a good example of how I would vibrationally get my butt kicked from reacting. If I would have yelled at them, they're out there laughing, having a great time, not being obnoxious at all. Yeah, it was a men of humanity test. Yeah. And so then this morning, when I was walking Doozer, I looked over to my right and there was four men putting a tent, folding a tent up, and they all waved at me and smiled. And if I would have screamed at them, that wouldn't have happened, and I would have been getting my butt kicked vibrationally instead. They would have all been like, "Oh yeah," they wouldn't have waved at me. No, they would have been like, "Oh yeah, there's that lady that screamed at us last night." And I wouldn't have been able to go to sleep because I would have been thinking about how I wish I would have dealt with it better. Yeah, so that's awesome. I'm so grateful that I'm not super surprised by pop quizzes anymore. Yeah. Ancients, was there something else? It seems like there was. I have been, thank you, I've been working, part of channeling, I mean, an infinite amount of beings. I tend to lose my flow when I'm recording videos. It's much different. Did I already say this? Probably. It's just so much different when I'm holding salt song with a real human being. I don't tend to forget. So I've been working diligently. Part of learning how to channel is learning how to listen without having something they say. And I was talking to my youngest daughter on our hour-long phone call last night. She told her family, I'm going to talk to mama for an hour now. So she did, of course, help her daughters out once in a while with things, but she's just like, okay, I'm still talking to my mama. And she was holding really good boundaries, because it seems like when we get on the phone, that's when children need us like desperately. And then when you say, yes, what is it? They don't know what they need. They just know that they don't have your undivided attention. So when I was talking to her last night, I saw myself, and I have seen myself do this. I'm being tested right now to see how I can hold my attention when he squeaks his toy. So she said something that reminded me of something, and that's a natural part of a flow of a healthy communication. Is something reminds each other of something the other one is saying, and then we talk about that. But it's not a something that my persona that I've just was able to shine my light of awareness on yesterday or day before, was when the personal identity comes in and interrupts, like hijacks that conversation, because it reminded me of something. And when it's the personal identity, I've noticed it's not usually something positive. And I'm just like, and I said that yesterday, how did I get down this road? Like, how did we get here? And I traced it back, and it was because she said something that reminded me of her dad. And I was thinking about her dad all day yesterday, because I just borrowed my grandson's truck, and my girl's dad is his grandpa. So he rebuilt this truck and drove it to him. And so that it just reminded me of something negative, and I was just like, I don't want to do that. And we started talking about it, and I said, did you feel like verbally ran over just now? And she said, I did feel like you hijacked the conversation for just a second there. And I just love them so much, because it's imperative for people I'm holding satsang with to be honest. When I'm delving on being able to shine my light of awareness on something that doesn't make communication with the other beautiful being clear. It needs to be a clear, open channel. And if my persona is jumping in there needlessly and, relating to something, and then, going down a whole different negative trail, and we weren't even on something negative, I don't want to do that. So I see it now. And this was at the very beginning of our call. We weren't even 10 minutes in yet. And I was seeing this because we were both having a realization about, somebody that we both love. How I was focused, and she was too, and she still will be. She's much closer in proximity to this person than I am, but I have been working desperately, diligently on having more compassion for the men of humanity, specifically because, like Amma would say, the hugging saint, they just need more love. That would basically be her answer to troublesome people. They just need more love. But we can use our gift of discernment and not be around toxic people. However, when I'm putting my energy into thinking about the men of humanity, I don't want to go with the automatic thoughts of judgment about them, because vibrationally that just keeps us all stuck. So it was so beautiful, because we talked for 58, almost 59 minutes. And at the end of the call, I don't know if she mentioned it or if I did, I'm not sure. But she said, you did so great, Mama, for the rest of the phone call. And I said, oh my gosh, I said, thank you so much, baby. I said, is this something that like you and your sisters have talked about or you've thought about? And you're just like, man, I wish you would stop doing that. And she said, nope, not once. We haven't had one conversation about it. I haven't thought about it. She said, I do the same thing. And that was part of our revelation, is it's a healthy, natural part to relate. But now that the persona, the useless personal identity, is shutting off, then I will be able to listen better. Yeah, it's another huge chunk of useless thinking, like thinking, shedding off right now. And lately they've been showing me as myself as a rocket, and these huge thought patterns, these huge thought forms that have come in that I've just automatically went with, like when something reminds me of something. But if it's the personal identity, like we said, it's more than likely going to be something negative. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, the personal identity can really hold on to stuff sneakily because it seems justified. Well, that's what happened. No, that's what happened 30 years ago or whatever, I don't need it in my life. And this ascension is just so beautiful because it's very gradual. Yeah, incredibly gradual to the personal identity, to our true nature. It's divine timing, which it is. But to the personal identity, this ascension and the shifts in ourselves can seem so gradual. It may feel like there's nothing happening. But then all of a sudden, I have yet another life-changing, life-altering realization. It's so beautiful because I want people to feel heard. I want to feel heard. Yeah, and seen, they're saying. We all want to be seen. And I don't feel like I could love people more than to see that they are a beautiful being in the moment and feel that. Yeah, that's what I want because I know that I can see from there. I know I can. It's just a matter of letting go of the useless personal identity that's just full of judgment. And, the list goes on. Attachment, unforgiveness. We're all in school together. None of us are these physical forms. Every single time I say it, I remember it even more. It solidifies even more. It's a knowing. It's a knowing now. I used to, learn it from those who've went before me, and I knew that it was true. It resonated with me. But over the years, of course, these things that resonate with us and feel true, that's our own natural state of being. So they come into focus, and then we just know it. We no longer even remember it. We just automatically know it. And that's how it's getting with so many things. So the ones that I love and the ones that I don't even know yet, I want them to feel the love from overflow of presence. Thank you so much. I just didn't know how I wanted to word that because that is truly what humanity needs, is to feel more loved, to feel more seen. That activates the how we naturally feel. They're saying it helps people remember who they really are. I think we've been saying that in a few different ways, huh? Isn't this so beautiful? My oldest daughter gave that to me. I told her one day, I said, I see you. She had a gift for me. And I said, I see a crystal. And I had lost the crystals off of the hood of my car. And, or so I thought. Did I take it off? Okay. I'm panicking a little bit right now. Okay, I took it off. Oh, there was a little pop quiz just now. Yeah, because being attached to things that have sentimental value, it's been a doozy for me. Like my angel aura necklace that I thought somehow I just lost, but I laid down earlier and I took it off. I'm gonna go double check. Yep, it's there. See, that's my first tool to make sure to keep any thought activity, any useless thought activity, especially fear, fear thought activity, completely gone, is to go make sure and see if it's there. If it wasn't, then I would have asked the ancients, make it plainly obvious where my angel aura necklace is. Yeah, so she brought me this. Yeah, it's I have another one here. It's the feminine, I feel, of, here, I can take it out of there. I've been holding my hippo that Moonstar gave me. I love him so much. He's very warm right now. He feels alive because he is, but also because I was just holding him in my palm. He fits perfectly in my palm. So she gave me this one. Is it, no, this is citrine. This is, what is this again? Does anybody know? And she brought me this one, and I said, oh my gosh, I feel like this is the feminine and this is the masculine. It was such a beautiful sign of, you know, the masculine and feminine balance. Balance is being restored. Isn't that wonderful? I know men have been oppressed for a long time in their own way. However, in society, women have been oppressed for an incredibly long time, and that is changing. It's really wonderful. This is my citrine angel. Hopefully I didn't say her name. I'll have to watch this video back all the way to make sure I didn't say my oldest daughter's name. If I did, I can't upload it, which is fine. Yeah, I have so many treasures. The outside is, you know, hard rock. And I found this down by the river. And I believe that sand just kept being pushed in here. It was like in an eddy or something, and formed that sand rock inside. Is that it for now, Ancients? I think that's it for now. If you would like help with being able to navigate pop quizzes, we would love to see if we could help you with that. I'm going to go have some waffles. satsongwithmamag@gmail.com. There's no shame in growth, they're saying. I was kind of beating myself up for having been doing it. And she said, isn't that growth, Mama? Yeah, baby. Yeah, it is. We love you so much.